What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, as always, as promised, I got another treat for you. Cora Chavez in the house. What's up?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Folks, if you guys don't know this dude, founder of Cora Balanced K9,
That's
like
right.
a dog expert, the dog whisperer.
That's right.
Cora Balanced, what's that mean?
Well, it's just a mix-up of my name, Cora Chavez, and then balanced. Balance is the goal. I want a balanced dog, right? So not too insecure and not too
Aggressive.
exactly overly protective.
So balanced canine, meaning perfect.
That's right.
And Cora Chavez.
Yeah.
Mixed. I gotcha.
Yeah, you
I was
got it.
wondering what Cora was, but Cora Balanced K9, folks, which is, by the way, a very experienced dog training organization who has worked with over 2,000 dogs.
Quite a few.
A lot of which are owned by celebrities because you're down there in the old Tinsel Town.
That's right.
And more than 80,000 hours. Where'd you get started?
Well, I really got started kind of like any other trainer where you train your own dog, but I got my first dog when I was 19. My mom was scared of dogs, so we never had dogs growing up. She's still scared of dogs.
What kind was it?
A pit bull.
Well,
And
no wonder.
no, but wasn't scared of that dog. She just was scared of dogs in general. So, I was 18, 19 and got my first dog. But I had the goal of, I want him to be well behaved. I had a goal. So I got him and went to PetSmart. Didn't know what I was doing. Went to PetSmart and did the training there. And, that only took me so far, but it kind of sparked my interest in, teaching a dog, training something. And then, again, that only took me so far. And then I had some sort of behavior problems. Like I couldn't even walk him on the leash. And I went back to PetSmart and the trainer there said like, here's a technique. And I tried it at home and it didn't work. And I went back and she's like, well, that's all I have for you. I'm like, what do you mean that's all you have for me? I thought you were supposed to be the trainer. So there's where I kind of understood like, you don't know everything. Fast forward a little, I moved to LA. I'm 20 years old. I move with nothing. I can't even bring the dog because I don't have a place to stay. So I drive my grandma's car and I find an apartment. My friend's watching the dog back at home in New Mexico. And then I end up bringing him with me and no job. So I hopped around a couple different jobs and then I applied at this dog training facility. And little did I know, though, that I had called that place a couple months before looking for dog training. And they said like, it's a couple $1,000s. And I just couldn't even fathom a few $1,000s for dog training at the time. And then I applied for the job later. And I actually applied for the receptionist job. I needed a job. And I didn't hear back from them for about a month. But they called back and they said, hey, we got a job opening in like the kennel staff. I said, all right, perfect. I need it. Part-time. So I start part-time kennel staff. And this place was founded by a trainer, a behaviorist. And so he had his training center and then he had, boarding and daycare and grooming. And so that's where I started learning. And the trainers were the ones that would teach the new staff and teach the staff. So I started learning dogs there, mostly like in daycare. So we had a big daycare yard, 25 dogs running around. The trainers are teaching us body language, how to handle them. So that's really where I started.
You ever been bit?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Is that part of it?
I think so. There's a lot of trainers who don't think so. They think if you get bit, you're a bad trainer. For me, it's experience.
Well, I mean, if you are hired to train a dog that's aggressive, you're liable to get bit.
Yep. So I don't want to be bit, but I also think that, it was a lot of learning experiences in being bit. Some of the ones maybe were my fault. Some of the other ones were, hey, the dog was just going to bite and I was there.
What about when they say it bites and you're like, oh, don't worry, I'm a trainer. And
Well,
they
because
bite
some
you
of
anyway.
them, yeah, okay. So like it also removed a little bit of insecurity from me. I've been bit by a lot of dogs. So I'm not that scared. I don't want to be bit. And some of them, obviously, there is a little bit of fear sometimes still, but it removed a little bit of insecurity. So we get to actually work with the biting dogs or the ones that maybe need more rehabilitation because of that experience. So it's kind of a known thing where some trainers say like, if you're getting bit, you're not very good. I just think you're not working with the same dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually you obviously didn't think where you were was doing it right, and or you're just like entrepreneurial.
Well, that's right. Basically what happened was I grew there a lot though. I grew there. I was there for 7 years and I started as the part-time kennel and I worked my way up, and they had an opening in the intern position for the training department. They were looking for new interns. They like to groom from the inside. And so I got the position and I trained for about a year as an intern, and then graduated. And then I spent the next 2 or 3 years really learning how to train dogs. And then we opened another location, and I learned how to work with people there. Next couple of years working with people. So again, you could be great at working with dogs, but you might not be great at working with people. So, politics and business happened and the company ends up getting sold. And so this is also where I learned how to monetize the skill though. Because again, you could be good at dog training, but nobody pays you. You have a skill, but you don't know how to monetize it. So I learned, sales. Yeah, we had to sell dog training. And so we had, monthly goals to meet and, quotas and stuff like that. So really, I had to work in the reception. We interned with the groomer there. We did some wellness stuff. So I really learned all different aspects of the business side. So yes, some politics happened, and the company got bought, and my mentor sold the company, and so I was the first trainer there to leave and venture off on my own. And I've always been a risk taker.
Did you leave because the mentor left?
I got pushed out. I was pushing back.
So they created their own competition.
Pretty much, and then actually they're kind of just went under a little bit, but a big box company bought them. So
did you have the plan the whole time, or were you just like happy to work and liking your job and you had no plan really?
No plan. I was just incrementally becoming better, making more money, which was great. I was like, this is awesome. I'm training. Before when I would...
But if you work for me, you can't make as much as you make now.
Oh, no. Yeah, of course. Well, that was the problem. I'm like, hey, you guys are getting 75% of the money and I'm doing all the work. Right. So they were only, we were only getting 25%. So
at least they were giving you a piece.
Yeah. But, I felt like we could have done probably more together than, apart. So, but that's right. They were giving us a piece, but we were doing all the work. And really what happened was they pushed me and evolved me to where, again, we just worked 228 days in a row. Like our last day off was in February. So we've been off for 1 week right now. So they pushed me to work harder, work more, take care of the dogs, take care of the clients, to when I was ready to go off on my own. We work more now than we've ever worked in our life, right?
That's how it goes.
Exactly. So they really groomed me for that. Obviously I was ready to do it. I've been a competitor my whole life. So I needed my own competition. I needed something to compete at.
So at some point you said, screw it, I'm starting my own.
Well, again, I got pushed out, and relationships are huge, right? So I had skill and I had some relationships. So I took like a week off. I got pushed out. I took a week off, and then I started, connecting with my relationships with my clients that I had met there. I said, hey, look, I'm out. I'm doing my own thing. And they got me in with a dog rescue, a very large dog rescue there in LA. And, we had already been working with a lot of rescues under the mentor. So that's something that we've always been passionate about is, okay, look, we have our paying clients, but then we also have, our nonprofit, let's say, and we can
pro bono.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and just tell people why you do that. Why do you do it for free?
Well, because really I'm trying to become the person that I needed when I was that 19-year-old. Or, so I didn't have the money. So really, and to keep the dogs in the home. You know what I mean? It's like not necessarily the dog's fault that the owner can't afford it. Right.
Or doesn't know how to train it to where it keeps it.
Exactly. Doesn't know how to train it.
It's a lot like kids, there's a saying that says, don't let your kids do things that will cause you to not like them.
That's right. Yeah. So you need to raise kids that that you're going to like.
Yeah.
So it would be the same for the dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there that'll get rid of their dogs rather than, take the time and effort to train them.
Exactly. So, even when someone would say like, oh, we just did the PetSmart training or Petco or whatever, like small training, I'm like, at least you did something, because there's people who don't do anything. So yeah. And, we've been blessed enough again to build it. We had to do the work where we get to pick and choose. And so if I want to do something for free, then I'll do something for free, and we do a lot of that. And it's our way of giving back, where it's unconventional when you hear someone say like, oh yeah, I work with dogs. And, maybe at the level that we do it at, right? We kind of feel like we do it. I turned pro when I left my mentor spot. I said, oh, now it's all on me and I'm turning pro. So we've really taken it to the next level and I've really become a pro. And so it allows me to do that pro bono.
So how do you continue to learn new things? Do you go to like other trainers and keep learning, or do you just...
A little bit.
You discover your own shit?
A lot of it is just continued reps. Every client, every dog is new. Every person is new. Me going into their home, being challenged in new ways. So I have obviously kind of a philosophy or a goal. Again, the goal is balance, right? But everybody's all over the place. They have different goals. So really, I'm a problem solver, and again,
because everyone's different.
Exactly. The dog's different.
Lifestyles, schedules.
Yep. So I try to fit my understanding into that.
Can you train like protection dogs?
So we trained a few protection dogs with the mentor. It wasn't something that we specialized in. Too much liability. That's not what we're doing. And like you had said, earlier about training that dog to now bite. Well, once you train the dog to bite, it's now a liability, right? So if your dog accidentally bites someone now, okay, it's an accident. But especially where we are, people are looking for dog bites.
Yeah, I don't really want mine trained to be a biter. I want it trained to appear like a biter.
Yeah, and like I said with the breed, it already appears like a biter.
Like if you walk into a house and the dog's hair stands up and it just growls and it doesn't do anything, that's enough to deter.
That's right.
And that's all I wanted it to do, is like on command growl.
Okay, so you can teach it that, but then you need to teach it, okay, now go lay down and relax.
I stopped at the growl.
Exactly.
But it still doesn't growl. We didn't accomplish it. There's good trainers and bad trainers.
Yeah. And
then there's pros and then there's rookies.
That's right.
And I think I probably hired some rookies.
Yeah. But, it's not something that I specialize in, again, our mentor did a little bit of it, did a little bit of like Schutzen work and stuff like that, but really went more into the pet dog training industry,
Why, can you teach them to stop shedding?
No, but again, as we were talking about, diet, nutrition, health side of the dog, that can definitely help. Too many dogs are eating just garbage dog food. Garbage.
Most of the dog food's garbage.
Most of it. And even some of the more premium brands and the shipped fresh food is still pretty garbage. We've seen and fed all of the diets. We've cared for over
the best one?
5,000 dogs. The best one, again, is probably going to be some type of raw. Like we feed our dogs a raw food. Or something that you're cooking, something like you said that you do.
Do you ever worry that it's raw?
No, because
if I buy a pound of hamburger and throw it down.
Yeah, you just got to acclimate the dog correctly. But yeah, like the food it's actually raw. It's not like fresh cooked food. It's an actual raw food. But we buy it, pre-made, pre-packaged. So as long as you keep it
But
cold.
My wife's story, can she not cook it and it'll be fine?
That food that you're feeding?
Turkey?
Yeah.
Rice?
Yes, you can, because people feed, raw turkey necks, and the rice you'll need to cook.
I think when dogs eat the raw, it looks cool.
Yeah, our dogs eat the raw, And
you ever see the videos where like they put a neck bone and a liver and an egg?
Yeah, quail egg. Exactly. So we're not doing all of that. And mostly the unfortunate part about when you're, a dog trainer and you become a little more successful, your own dogs kind of take the back seat. We're too busy taking care of our clients' dogs. So as much as we would love to do all that, we kind of need some convenience. So we just choose the best that we can there. But
eventually I would see that you're like interested in creating a dog food or something. Because like how do you level up out of just the training alone?
Well, yeah, that would be it. Products, food. I mean, a lot of it, we do continued service. I do a personalized service for a lot of our clients. They like me. They like what I can bring to the table. They like the convenience that I bring. So I feel like we're a little different, where it's not, oh, this is just a dog training company. You're actually hiring someone that I allow them to do their job better. These people are pros. So, the more I can cater to them and take care of their dog and give them peace of mind. Part of what we love is when these people are halfway across the world and they come back and they get the dog from us, they were like, we didn't worry at all. That's what we love. We love when our clients and our people can have a great time and we're taking care of things.
So if someone's listening, they're like, hey, dude, I need a dog trainer. So you just go to CoraBalancedK9.com.
That's right. Or,
K9 with a K and a 9.
That's right. Or Instagram.
Hit them on Instagram.
Yep.
At Cora Balanced K9.
Yep.
Just like it sounds, folks. CORCHA Balanced K9.
That's right. We got a lot of free content on there. We post daily.
Or Google Corey Chavez.
That's right.
You got a little mass of followers starting.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we just tried for pure education. And really, I started the social media for our owners to see their dogs when they were with us. And that's a big part. It's peace of mind. Right. And so
how'd you tap into all the celebrities? And, someone must have found you first and then turned you on to other celebrities.
It was under the mentor, because he had already been training dogs for 20 or 30 years. Us starting at his company, he already had some clientele. So we were really groomed in it. I was groomed in it from the very beginning of working with celebrities or whatever. It could have been the governor or the mayor or whoever. So we started right away. Again, I grew some of those relationships. And so, but once I left, I had already been working with those type of people, so I at least wasn't like shying away from them, got the reps in with them. But I treated them like a normal dog owner. That's what they are. They're a normal dog owner, so take care of them like a normal dog owner. But when I left and I partnered with at a larger rescue, well, they have a lot of people in the industry that adopt from them. And so that relationship connected me with these people. But because I had already had the reps in previously for the last 7 years, it was easy for me, and because I just treat them like a normal owner.
If somebody's thinking about getting a puppy, what's your recommendation?
Well, first thing is choose the breed correctly. Okay, people are getting too many breeds that they can't handle. They're getting working dogs from farms, Australian Shepherds, cattle dogs, and they're trying to put it, in an apartment. So choose.
What's the danger there?
I mean, it's a dog that was supposed to be on the farm, herding sheep, and now you stuck it in your apartment, and you don't know how to fulfill the dog, and then now the dog is,
chewing up your couch.
Yeah, or nipping people. Or it's not an apartment, it's in a nice large home in Beverly Hills, but it's nipping the kids and it's nipping all your guests that come over. Well, yeah, because you got a nipping, herding dog, right? But it looks cool.
So why are Malinois famous for?
Working. I mean,
they call them Malingators.
Well, they use their mouth, right? So,
well, mine, I got lucky because they're all crazy and they're all energetic. Mine shows signs of that, but my girl is very calm for a Malinois, thankfully.
So that was what I was going to get at next for the puppy, choosing your puppy. I like to choose based off of character and personality, and you can choose that at 8 weeks old. So this is where not a lot of people are they're not educated on how to do that. So do you want a more passive dog, which is what you have, which kind of goes against what you wanted. You wanted a little bit more of a confrontational dog, and you got more of a passive one.
Big time.
But you went off of breed. You thought, well, this breed should do that. Yeah, but the character and the genetics and the personality didn't allow it to.
What do you think gives them that difference? How they're raised, or is it just straight genes?
I think it's 50-50, right? It's the same for us, nature versus nurture. So you could nurture that into the dog, but is it its nature? So that would be why you would, talk to your, in that case, breeder specifically, right? Hey, like, this is what I'm looking for. And you want to be able to actually see the puppy. You could do different tests. How does it react to throwing a ball? Or I like to see, how does it try to mouth you at 8 weeks old? So I'm literally going to get the puppy. I'm going to get its back paw I'm going to separate the toes, and I'm going to put a little bit of pressure between the toes. And I'm going to pinch just a little bit. And I want to see, does that puppy bite my hand or lick my hand at 8 weeks old? And it's going to tell you, is it more assertive to pressure or is it more passive to pressure? So there you kind of know, how does it respond to pressure at a young age? That's what you're looking for. So most people, for what we find that have problems, they got a more controlling, pushier, dominant dog when they wanted a passive one.
And the licker is the passive one?
The licker's the passive one because it's how it deals with pressure, right? Whereas, so it's like, my understanding is you're applying pressure and the puppy's going to say, please don't apply pressure versus don't apply pressure to me. You're trying to see how it reacts.
See, that just little tidbit probably saved a bunch of dog owners.
100% all the time because they call us after the fact, right? Now, your puppy's going to mouth regardless. You get a brand new puppy, it's going to be teething and mouthing anyways. But we're talking about choosing the character of the dog.
How do you keep, this has probably nothing to do with training, but like, how do you keep it as healthy as possible?
Well, it does have to do with training, right? Because as healthy as possible, I'm thinking, again, balanced. So body and mind.
Well, like some of them get the hip, I mean, it's genetic, but some of them get like hips, but if you feed it better, it doesn't.
Well, it might not be as inflamed. I mean, you've been getting your diet dialed in lately, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. So you're less inflamed, and that's part of what we do too. I mean, our diet's dialed in. We work out every day. Our diet's dialed in. The sleep's dialed in. Again, we're pros. So, but that's it. Most dogs are walking around super inflamed, and unhealthy. So feeding it,
thanks to the mass chain dog food.
100%. And it's like, just read the labels. We do a lot of posts of that too, of like, just read the labels. The labels will tell you, but nobody checks the labels. Again, so part of it is the food, 100%, right? Less inflamed dog. But then you need to exercise it, both mentally and physically.
Well, what if you don't? Because believe it or not, our dogs, they don't get much exercise at all.
Well, I feel like we're kind of missing out on that fulfillment for the dog, but okay, so we have maybe some disabled people, owners or whatever. They're elderly. They can't at least mentally stimulate the dog, have rules for it, requirements for it. Meaning when you're eating, you guys are at the table. Well, I can even ask you, where are your dogs when they're
staring at me?
Exactly. This is where they should be, send them to their bed. Everyone go to bed, lay down and stay, which also will help you with your barking at the door. So we need to be able to stop a behavior, and then we need to replace it with another behavior. So everyone wants the dog to stop barking, but they don't tell the dog what to do instead.
Well, they don't do it. We're not trainers.
Well, yeah, that's right. But the dog doesn't even know how to stop.
You act like you just tell it to go to bed and it does.
Well, again, it's like, see,
I'll say, go sit down. They're staring at me with my steak. They got their shit food an hour ago.
Yep.
And that's another thing. Like, I want to, as the dog owner, throw it table scraps.
But it can be on its bed and you do it. So you just need to teach it to go to bed and then hold the stay. It needs to be on command. And this is a part of that mental stimulation.
You should have a training course.
We're going to get there. But that's the point though. See, it's not just, hey, I need you to be away from me and stop staring at me. You need to actually tell it what to do. This is where obedience is very important. Obedience commands. So our dog needs to know how to go to bed, sit, lay down, and stay. And then now you can feed it the food. We don't have no problem with you feeding from, as long as it's healthy food, from the table, but do it while the dog is on command. So,
well, like I order a steak and, there's certain pieces that aren't, the gristle, whatever. And I just like to chuck it and let them catch it.
So all you got to do, well, look, you're kind of reinforcing it though. If you're feeding them there,
I do.
Then you're reinforcing it.
Well, because they're there and they're staring at me.
So just guide them over to their bed.
Can you start late and still train them?
Yeah, but
so when they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's bullshit.
Yeah, because we train a lot of 10-year-old dogs, 11-year-old dogs. I mean, we have dogs come from all types of crazy situations. A couple months ago, we trained a dog that came off of a Korean meat farm truck. We just trained a dog that came from Qatar. So yes, but they may be more set in their ways. So we may have to, break those ways and instill new ones. But you can do it.
Have you met a dog you couldn't train?
Not that we couldn't, but maybe something that we just weren't able to take on. I'm like, this is not something that we're going to do right now. But No, because we've trained blind dogs, deaf dogs, dogs missing limbs, dogs with different types of diseases. So I also think it comes down to like, what does training mean? But no, you can always teach a dog new things because they're just also opportunistic creatures. So like if you teach them, hey, this is how you get what you want. See, like unfortunately, if you're kind of just reinforcing them by the table, then they're learning like, oh, all we got to do is stand by the table and dad will feed us. Versus, oh, we have to go to our bed and then dad will feed us. And if that's how you stay consistent, then that's what your dog will end up doing. So
what should I start doing? Like starting even tonight?
Take them to the bed. Do you have beds for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all 4?
Yeah.
Put them all next to each other. On leash. This is the big part. No one's using the leash inside the house. They think the leash is for walking. The leash should be to guide your dog to get them to do what you want. So most dogs are not leash trained. How well are your dogs on the leash? Do they walk well? No, they don't walk well. So
we don't walk them.
Well, and that's all. Okay, so which I think is kind of a big part.
It's almost like my dogs are abused.
Well, not really, because you love them, right?
Yeah, they're not physically abused, but dude, I say it all the time. Like, babe, we never take these dogs anywhere. Like, I feel bad for them. Like, they never go anywhere. They're in jail at our house.
Probably a nice house. But,
it's a nice house, okay. And they get good food. My wife cooks for them, but still, I mean, 3 are little baby ankle biters, but like the Malinois, when I grew up, our dog was basically an outside dog. So you open up the door and it trucks and it goes and runs all over the place and comes home at night to eat. And like, that's what I'm used to.
Yes.
So like, I feel bad for ours because like we don't take it anywhere. And the main reason is because they're not trained. If they were trained and they listened,
that's right,
we'd take it places.
That's right. So yeah, a lot of dogs are like so under socialized because we don't have control of them. So you can't take them out. And then like the problems just get worse and worse and worse.
Or they fight with another dog. Someone says, take it to the dog park. Well, dude, there's other dogs there.
We don't like that. We don't like dog parks.
And there's dog diseases.
Exactly. Because people will get a dog straight from, let's say, the shelter or whatever, and they take it straight to the park because they want it to have freedom. And then it's sick. And then, so.
And or murderous.
Well, sure. Like, again, because it's an out of control environment. So something we thought about was like, hey, we want a dog park with rules. You pay $20 to come in our dog park, and you
have one, or is this an idea?
This is an idea.
That'd be a good one, though.
Yeah, but
like
we have
a high-end dog park.
Yeah, so they have like a couple clubs that are like that, and they sort of vet the dogs. But this is where people don't.
That right there would be a good.
It'd be a good idea.
Well, just like hoity-toity type shit, where like
there's some
the
of
Paris
that.
Hiltons of the world would be like, my dog's a member over at
That's right.
This place.
There is a couple dog people. That's what it's called. Yeah, in LA, which is like how you pay like a membership fee and they have cocktails. And
they got to be
there.
approved.
Yeah, exactly. They have to pass a test. No, but it's a dog park is an out of control environment, and dogs are very controlling creatures by nature. So if you're not in control, then the dog has to be in control, and so. This again is where we're just kind of setting the dogs up to fail. But what I find that it then transfers between dogs to then the owners, and then they have a problem with each other, so we just steer clear from dog parks. But you put your dog on a leash at home, you start to teach it things. I think the unfortunate part about not walking them, well, we're not connecting that you're actually wanting your dog to take more direction from you. So when you want it to stop barking at the door, barking when your guests come over, but that's the only time you ask it to listen, it's never going to listen. So I think this is why when you're eating or when you're having family time, this is where you want to be including your dogs, but put them on task is what we call it. Have them included with you, but not just doing whatever they want, jumping on and off the couch, running everywhere.
Oh, there's a good one. How do you keep them off the furniture?
Well, I think you have to teach them, first thing is to extinguish a behavior, you have to say you can't do it at all, right? So every time the dog is up there, you're just gonna have to get it off. Eventually it's gonna figure out okay, every time I jump up, you get me off.
How long until that should take place?
Well, if your dog's already doing it.
They all do it. Our couch is like freaking, it's so stupid too. If someone comes over and sits down, they're like, I'm like, don't sit on that couch.
So then maybe you have a designated one for the dogs. Do you have that?
No.
No. Okay. Well, you
No, how about just kick them off?
Well, exactly. So that's the point, though. Look, some dogs shouldn't be allowed on the couch.
Okay, well, what about when, like, I care, so I'm starting to train them, but then I go to work and my kids and wife don't.
So they may listen to you when you come home and say off, but not to them, right? This is, again, where we had talked about they're relationship-based creatures, and they're opportunistic. So they're going to know your rules, which you already slightly probably have that. They listen to you a certain way versus listening to Melissa a certain way.
Well, some of them. So the little rescue Chihuahua, Bella, she don't listen to me. She don't like me. She don't do nothing.
Does she shy away from you?
Yep. And anybody except little kids and mainly females. So maybe it was abused by a male. I don't know.
Maybe.
But like that dog doesn't listen to me at all. Doesn't even like me at all. After several years now. And I give her steak. And
she eats it?
Yeah, she freaking she likes me when I have steak.
Yes.
But that's it. And I'm like, after a while, it's like, I don't want to give it any steak because it doesn't like me. Now, the Malinois, for some reason, she chose me as the one she follows around and listens to the most. And when the dogs go to bed, she comes with me. The other three go with the kids. So like the Malinois
she
knows.
sleeps in your room?
Yeah.
She sleeps with you. Well, next to the bed?
She used to be on the bed, which I liked. Because if anybody sneaks in my bed at night, not in my bed, but in my bedroom.
Yeah. So where do you have her now?
Now I have her at the foot of the bed.
On a bed or no? Like a dog
she's
bed?
got a bed, but she chooses the floor.
Yeah, it's probably cooler.
Yeah, so, but still, I go to bed, she's with me.
Yeah.
The other dogs go with the kids.
Yeah.
And I've put the dogs with me, all of them, in the room, and I wake up, the little dogs are with the kids. They've chosen them.
Yep.
And mine's chosen me. So why do they do that?
Well, it's probably because, well, one, they're going to look at them as playmates. A dog's going to look at children like playmates. And they get away with a lot more with the kids. You're going to be more demanding than your children are with the dogs. You're going to have more rules. So, of course, again, they're just like children.
But they don't like them better?
Well, maybe, I don't know about but they maybe get more food from them.
They get most food from me.
Oh, from you. Okay, well, I just feel like the dogs are probably like, well, we don't have to listen as much. Your kids are not as demanding as you are. I think it comes down to a demanding thing, because I've had we have a client right now where we've been with him for about 10 years. They have a Great Dane. And the youngest daughter at the time was maybe only like 3 or 4. She was the most demanding with the dog because she was the smallest and the dog was large. And so the dog actually listens to her more, but she had to be more demanding. So I feel like, a lot of times, obviously, children are not that demanding with dogs. And so the dog's going to gravitate more towards them because they can get away with more.
Okay, so this is a belief of mine. So change it or confirm it. And I'm sure a lot of listeners right now are thinking, yeah, that's me too. So growing up, my dad would always train the dogs, and for some reason, potty trained like that. Like that. All he would do, as soon as they piss or shit on the floor, he'd grab them, smear their nose in it or near it, and chuck it outside. He'd probably do that 2 or 3 times is all it took. And that dog would whine at the door and never piss or shit in the house again. Does that work?
I think it could work.
What's the right way to do it?
Well, look, I think my definition of a well potty trained dog is a dog that holds on to themselves until you let them out. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd be fine.
Yes. Like that's our goal. But some people, they want the doggy door left, or they want the doggy door, or they want the door left open and the dog just goes out on their own. So
I want it to hold it unless it's outside.
Exactly. So, but nothing is requiring the dog to hold it. So sure, there you try to build a negative association to teach the dog like, hey, you did that wrong. And again,
well, it worked.
I know, and it does and can work, right? But there's plenty of people who are like, I'm never going to do that.
Well, what happens when you have multiple dogs? You don't know which one did it.
That's why we crate train a dog.
But not 2 years later.
We crate train all of our dogs that we work with.
So if I wanted to fix because sometimes, Indy usually goes outside. Unless the scooper comes and she's so freaked out she'll shit anywhere. Matter of fact, one time she was trying to get something under the couch, and it's one of those couches that like move, so there's hardware under there. She got her paw caught in the little, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And she tried to pull it, and she started flipping out and literally she shit everywhere.
Herself, yeah. Stress or that's freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, but why would they shit?
Well, they like lose control. They lose control of themselves.
That was the grossest thing ever.
So, we've seen some of that with our rescue dogs. They don't know how to be on a leash, or I don't know. We've seen all different types. We also see where they don't shit for 4 or 5 days. They don't. They hold on to themselves because they're also so insecure. But going back to the potty training part, to me, it's a 2-step process. You need to teach the dog where to go, and then you need to teach it how to hold on to itself for a longer period of time. But see, most of the time, too much freedom. The dog just has the ability to just go over there and shit, have an accident, piss. So that's why we crate train. Because if the dog doesn't learn to respect the small space of the crate, it's never going to learn to respect the whole house. Especially if your house is larger, they can just peel off and have an accident in one room and never have to deal with it. So
until you see it.
Yeah.
So then what do you do?
Well, okay. So if that were me, I do try to build some type of negative association there that, hey, I am unhappy that you did that here. I might not grab them and do that, but I am going to be like, did you do that? That's not what we do. We do that outside. Like, I think that's it's a human thing that we would react that way. But I am trying to build some type of negative association there. But I also just think I missed it. I didn't take the dog out soon enough. Or obviously I haven't taught the dog how to hold on to itself until I let it out.
How do you teach it that?
With the crate. Confinement training.
So you stick it in a crate?
Or people will use
Because I've tried that, and then guess what? They shit in the crate.
I know. So this is also why the timing of the feeding is important. When you feed the dog. The water intake is important. So
we just have bowls of water out.
Well, that's probably the problem also.
So you shouldn't do that?
Well, I think when you're trying to potty train and the dog doesn't know how to hold on to itself, right? So the last thing we want is it needs to pee and then it drank more water and the door's closed and then it just pees.
So what's your feeding time recommendation?
Everyone's different, right? It's based off their schedule. But let's just at least say the dinner should be early. Feed dinner at 3:30, 4 o'clock. So that your dog has multiple times to go out, go potty before they go to bed. You're looking for them to poop before they go to bed. Yep. Don't send your dog to bed or put it in the crate or whatever if it hasn't pooped before bed, which just means you got to feed it early so it has enough time to digest.
What's that, usually an hour?
Well, every dog's a little bit different. It's also contingent on the food, right, that you're feeding. But
I'm trying to pick your brain so when I go home, I can get an improvement on my own.
Well, exactly. So feed them earlier, but you're feeding that, fresh food.
Fresh food, but there's never a freaking time.
Do you have a consistency? Oh, you don't have a consistency.
Sometimes it'll be 11 o'clock and I'll be like, babe, did you feed the dog? She's like, I'm going to. And I'm like,
at that point,
what do you mean you're going to?
At that point, I would just skip it. 11 p.m.?
Yeah. No. AM.
Oh, AM. Oh, for breakfast.
Yeah, because again, Indy sleeps in my room. So I get up early. I'm always up early.
Yep.
So I'll walk out. She's up, comes out with me, obviously.
You take her outside right away?
I open the door, let her out, but sometimes she doesn't go out. She's more interested in food because she knows I'm going to get up and feed her. Mm-hmm. So I feed her in the morning. Well, the other dogs, they don't get up till 9, and then they run around, and then we feed them around 9:30 or 10. But sometimes if the kids are up at 7, well, then the dogs are up at 7, so we feed them at 7. So there's never a consistent. But when I go home, the reason I'm picking your brains is I want to go home and say, okay, guys, new rules for the dogs. Okay, this is the time they eat. And if you skip it, they're not going to die. You'd recommend you just don't feed them?
Well, that was if it were 11 p.m. If it's, if it were 11 p.m., just ride it out because then you're probably going to wake up to an accident. They're going to poop overnight.
Yeah.
So, if you want them to poop overnight, then yeah, that's okay, But they need to, when you have 4 dogs, they need to all be on the same schedule. Yeah, I know it sucks, but somehow they need to get on the same schedule where it's easy for you guys.
Do you think they learn from each other?
Oh, yeah. If they see one doing it and they're like, oh, well, I'll just follow along. That's where we go. We poop, in the living room or whatever. So
how long can a dog hold its stuff?
Again, like we've said, those dogs that come from the crazy situations, we've seen them hold on to themselves for 4 or 5 days.
So it's possible.
Yeah, but like that's not good. We're talking like 6 hours, for people who have to work.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So like, let's say kids are out of town, wife's out of town, I'm home alone. I get up, leave, let's say around 8 or 9. I don't get home till 7 or 8. Should I expect shit on the floor?
Probably.
And there's no way to stop it.
No, but what I would then end up doing is like try to set them up with some type of indoor. Well, I heard you use the pads.
She does. I don't do anything.
Yeah, sure.
I tolerate
for your dogs.
Yeah, I just tolerate them. So that's the gift I give them: toleration.
If my dogs are gonna be let for that extended period of time, I'm gonna give them some type of indoor bathroom. Somehow.
So you just leave them a pad.
Yes, or a grass patch, or I put them in a pen. Especially if it's a younger puppy, right? I put them in like a puppy pen. Yeah. I put a pad down, or a fake piece of grass, or they even have those fresh patches now, grass patches that you could put down.
What's weird is my dog would prefer the marble. It doesn't like pissing or shitting on grass.
Outside.
Yeah. It likes the floor.
It likes inside.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that tile.
Well, I mean, when inside there's a pad and there's fake grass, we've had it all. It'll piss on the floor.
Well, that's better for you because at least it's not on your rug.
Well, none of my houses have rugs, so I mean, not rugs. Yeah. We have rugs, but carpet. Yeah, and again, I mean, like, dude, if I had carpet, I probably got rid of them already.
So,
which, by the way, is part of the problem because a lot of dog owners, they want to love their dog. That's why training's so important, because if you can get your dog to just do the fundamentals and be just a balanced canine.
That's right.
Well, now you at least you don't have another dog entering the homeless dog pandemic.
That's right. It needs to learn how to be a pet. So last part on that potty training is what we do is you need some type of pen outside to put her in to potty. So right now, when you put her in the yard, does she just have free roam of the whole yard?
Yep.
You need a pen. And so you can put it on your grass and you put her in the pen. So most dogs go out and they mess around, especially when you're potty training a puppy. You want it to go in a pen outside, so you can just plop it down. It stays in the pen. It's not digging. It's not getting in the bushes. It's not picking up leaves and getting into things. It's in a pen. And then as soon as it goes, you remove it, you take it back inside. So we need to just eliminate some of that freedom. So
how long does it take
to potty train?
Yeah, like if someone said, okay, I'll give it 3 weeks. I'll commit 3 weeks. Or no, it's going to take 3 years.
You should do it in a week, at least to build the concept of this is where you go and you hold on to yourself until I take you out. But if you're just letting this is why, but you need a crate, you need a laundry room. We need to go with the dog's natural instinct to hold on to themselves where they eat and where they sleep. This is why the crate works so well. If you feed the dog in the crate, they take their naps there, they sleep there, they chew their bones there. They look at it as this is my den, right? This is my room. I don't want to poop and pee here. I know you had the experience where they did poop and pee, but it may have just been, again, the timing was incorrect, or you didn't feed her in the crate. Did you feed her in the crate?
Not sure.
That's a big one, though, because again, they're clean animals.
So even at this age, I can start crate training them.
Yeah, but they might not like it.
I don't care what they like. What I want is a clean, orderly pack of dogs that are wonderful.
Yeah, but all of a sudden you removed all their freedom. You know what I mean? So you're going to get a lot of pushback. That's why something like what we do with the board and train, they come into our environment, they don't know us. It's a lot easier for us to implement these new rules for the dog because they don't know us. Yeah. And I also look at it as this is your space. I need to give the dog a space. So you can totally do that, but they need to eat the food there.
I was going to talk to you more about like your entrepreneur journey to teach people that might be starting businesses to power through, because you just kept powering through basically.
Oh, powered through. We're still powering through. You know what I mean?
But you're powering through to a good level now.
Oh, yeah.
You can pick and choose your customers. You're making good money.
Yeah.
You got a good brand. Everybody's starting to follow you on social media. You're going to become the next, big celebrity dog guy.
Yeah, but that's because we don't care about what people think. We want results. You know, we live a truth. It's very easy to get swayed. I mean, we get hate, you know, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, another self-proclaimed blah, 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 because we didn't go to a school and get accredited and they, you know, but it's like anything, it's experience. I mean, you dropped out of school.
Well, results are what determine things.
Exactly, right? And, you know, we solve problems.
That's why when they talk about lawyers needing to, you know, go to school and pass the bar, how about just pass the bar?
That's right.
Like if I can pass the bar, who cares how I learned it?
Sure.
Who cares that I went to a school?
Exactly.
I learned it from reading. Who cares? I know the law, so that should make me a lawyer.
That's right.
But they want you to go do some stupid shit for their little circus.
That's right. It makes money off of it.
So listening to or knowing that people are listening that are growing businesses, what's a couple of like tidbits you'd say that you had to learn the hard way?
One is probably going to take you a decade to like really get where you want to be, because you need to learn your skill. And I think the best way to do that is you need a mentor, you know, get closest to the sun. So social media makes it look easy, but it's not. So I think, you know, you need to find someone that can teach you and they can help you eliminate some of that time. And then I really think that you need to look at yourself as a pro. If you want people to pay you, you need to become the pro. You need to become the expert. And that just takes time, but it's also a mental state. If you're not viewing yourself as the pro, as someone that, you know, is dialed in and isn't partying, you know, isn't doing all the nonsense, then you have a better chance, right?
Yeah,
I mean, there's so
focused.
many. Yeah, you got to be focused.
Yeah, because you follow me. I don't know if you're reciting the shit you've heard me say, but I'm agreeing with you.
Ask her.
Because mindset, number one, skill set, and then habits.
You know,
because if you can master those, dude, you can make any business work. The problem is most people, they're not good. They think they're good, but they're not good because, again, results will tell you that.
Yep.
And so they don't understand that takes work, that takes practice, that takes effort and sacrifice. So if you don't have the right mindset, you don't think that that's possible. So then you get the right mindset and then you start getting good. And, you know, it doesn't work fast enough. So then you got a bad mindset again, and people are still trying to get good and work on their skill set when in reality it's their mindset that's blocking them. So it's like this balancing act, no pun intended.
There you go. That's right. And it's discipline. People lack discipline in all those areas. You know,
biggest bomb of the whole episode right
discipline is the biggest one. And I learned a lot of discipline early on. You know, my dad was very disciplined with me, but I played soccer and I tried to play it at a high level. And anything I've done, I've always tried to do it at a high level. You know, do
you think that's born or you can develop that?
I think you can develop that. You know, I think she's developed a lot of that. So, but it's discipline and we get swayed quickly, and it's a balance of everything that you just said. It's going to take you time. It's going to take you a decade. And you can't get distracted, and you got to have a goal. Most people don't have a goal, or they have, you know, a superficial goal, you know, and me, I'm just trying to be the best that I could be. But I have a high standard because I know what I'm capable of doing, at least to what I've accomplished up to now, you know, but I know when we train a dog, if I didn't put all my effort in, I don't feel good. You know, at the end of the day, we want to make sure we put all of our effort in.
Yeah, that's called it ethics, work ethic.
And we have work ethic.
Integrity.
We have integrity.
You want to deliver.
That's right.
Because if you don't, dude, you're not going to be around very long.
And as I said, my biggest fear is being a fraud.
Why?
Well, because that's your reputation. You know what I mean?
Why is that your biggest fear?
Well, because I feel like then I spoke and told someone that I was going to do something and I didn't do it. That's why I'm very clear on like expectations, what can be done, especially when we're talking about a living creature, an animal. You know, we don't promise anything. We're really good at what we can do, but I can't promise you anything. So I also want to make sure that I'm just very clear with what I'm signing up for, you know, but I want to hold to my word, stick to my word. You know, that's all we have at the end of the day is your word. So
well, that's probably why you're successful.
I try to, we stick to that.
Dude, I'm going to make sure we get you back for another episode. Make sure we get you a part 2 because I had a whole bunch more to talk about, but I know, you know, we're on schedules. So because I want to like, and I guarantee you the listeners are like, you know, should ask them this, should ask them that. So you're close. You come back for another episode?
Definitely.
All right, good.
Definitely.
Folks, pay attention. If you have dogs and you want a quick freaking answer to make it the coolest dog you'll ever own, reach out.
That's right.
Cora Balanced K9s. Now again, they're not here to sell you a course, but they're here and they'll help you with their services.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter if you're in Vegas, you get dogs from all over.
From all over.
And then go to their website.
Yep.
I'm sure, what do I feed it and all this? Can they just DM you?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll answer.
Yeah, so anybody in the bomb squad, this guy's volunteering to answer your DMs at Cora Balanced K9.
Yep.
With an S. No,
just K9.
K9.
Yep.
On Instagram. So now you got a de facto dog trainer in your back pocket. Yep. Just go DM them any question. They'll reach out and help you. You don't have a book yet?
No, we don't have a book, but we've got a lot of YouTube content, long form stuff.
Go to his YouTube channel.
Stuff like this where I'm talking to clients, where I'm breaking things down. It could be an hour. We got hour-long videos on there.
Yeah, you got a lot of followers, and you're giving away a lot of free info.
Yeah, we have actual leash training stuff, puppy training stuff. Yeah.
Well, good, man. Yep. Hey, I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having us.
And thanks for the freaking cigar bag, dude. The Louis Vuitton cigar bag.
I wanted
brings
something.
Me a badass freaking cigar bag.
I wanted something perfect for you.
Dude, you're a good man. I appreciate the hell out of it. Appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you.
Folks, take care of your animals or stop buying them.
That's right.
If you want to better your life, better your animal, reach out to these guys, Cora Balanced K9s. As always, keep it real.